From the beautiful Bricktown Ballpark in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, this is the 2019 Phillips 66 Big 12 Conference Baseball Championships. And the matchup we have for you tonight to wrap up day number 2 is one of the marquee matchups that we saw when we saw the brackets come together. It's Oklahoma State, the number 3 seed, one of the best teams in the country at the end of the regular season, and the Baylor Bears, the number 2 seed, a team that had its sights set on winning the conference regular season crown. It was won by Texas Tech, but Baylor was looking to repeat as the conference tournament champions. Let's take a look at the second bracket. Baylor and Oklahoma met yesterday. Baylor won that by a score of 8-2 to advance. Oklahoma State outlasted TCU in a terrific ball game, 5-2 yesterday. TCU and Oklahoma met in an elimination game earlier today, and it was an historic performance for TCU. They won it by a score of 15-3. We'll talk about that a little bit later on, but Oklahoma's run in the tournament has come to an end. TCU awaits the loser of this game in an elimination game tomorrow. But we are setting the stage for Oklahoma State and Baylor. Alongside Mickey Tettleton, I'm Bill Dolman. Great to have you with us. And Mick, this is one of the games that when we saw the brackets come out, we thought if these two teams can meet, it's basically going to be one of those matchups where two big boys size up against each other to see how good they are right now.
Well, no question, and both of them are in a postseason regional right now. I think for Oklahoma State, if they can get to the finals, find a way to win it, then they're looking at a national seed. If Baylor can advance, get a little bit deeper into the tournament, they're looking at hosting. So there's a lot to play for tonight. Two really good teams that just met last weekend in the regular season. It's going to be interesting. It's a good matchup.
Got the best hitting team in the conference in Baylor and the most powerful team in the conference in Oklahoma State. And let's take a look at the Cowboy lineup. They'll be the visiting team because they're the lower seed at number 3. Houston Morrill, Christian Funk, Colin Simpson, the top 3. Simpson hit a home run yesterday. Navigado, Boone, McCusker, and they'll be followed by Carter, Garcia, and Cabanis for the Oklahoma State Cowboys, who are 33-17 on the season. And we're underway in the first pitch of the ball game. That misses to Morrill. It's a ball 1-0, and on the mound for the Baylor Bears,
Jimmy Winston, pardon me.
Jimmy Winston is out there.
Pardon me, really tough matchup for him. Good numbers on the year, though. 4.6 ER, 4.06 ERA, 5-1. 17 appearances, 9 starts. This will be his 10th tonight. 62 innings pitched. 36 strikeouts, 27 walks. That ratio is a little bit closer than you'd like to see.
Pitch fouled off, and the count moves to 1 ball and 2 strikes.
You know, opponent's only hitting 241 against him, and this is a Cowboy team that is a free swinging team. They will get their hacks in.
Oklahoma State yesterday, a couple of more home runs to the team total in the victory over TCU, and down on strikes goes Houston Morrill. So 1 away in the visitors' half of inning number 1. That'll bring Christian Funk to the plate. Funk yesterday went 0 for 4 against TCU. Defensively for the Cowboys, and they played some dynamite defense yesterday. McCusker, Boone, and Cabanis around the outfield. Funk is at third. Navigado will do the shortstop duties. Morrill is at second base. Alex Garcia, the first baseman. Bryce Carter gets the call behind the plate tonight for Jensen Elliott. Great defensive performances last night, especially right away in the first inning. Boone had a couple of nice catches in center field. A sliding grab off a hit by Jake Gunther. TCU was threatening early on. Boone slides, makes the grab, and that ended the TCU threat. It was a terrific ball game. It really broke it open or secured the victory for Oklahoma State. It was a 4-run 6th inning off Nick Lodola, one of the top pitching prospects in the country.
Yeah, that's not taking anything away from Parker Scott. He pitched a beautiful game as well for Oklahoma State. Those 2 defensive plays that you mentioned early in the game saved a couple of runs. If Oklahoma State has an issue, you've already seen it twice. And they have a lot of swing and miss in their offense. They've also got 78 home runs to go with it in the regular season. Added 2 more here last night.
Well, we showed you the Oklahoma State defense a little prematurely. Here's what's behind Winston. Herring is in left field. Richard Cunningham, the center fielder, and Davian Downey is in right. Wenzel will be at third base. Lofton, Bissonette, Wesner's the first baseman, and Shea Langoliers will do the catching for Jimmy Winston. At the plate with 2 away, this is Colin Simpson, the designated hitter tonight. Back-to-back strikeouts to begin things for Winston.
Oklahoma State can play long ball with anybody in the country, though. Up and down their lineup. You know, you've got 4 guys, double-digit home runs. Simpson hit one last night to left field.
80 home runs hit by the Cowboys this year.
Yeah, when you see him, you stand next to him on the field. It's a big group, big physical-looking bunch of hitters.
Yeah, Mike Gundy thinks that when he sees the baseball team, it's a group of recruits coming to play football for the Cowboys. Good inning and a good start for Winston. He gets a couple of strikeouts and a ground ball out. And Oklahoma State goes in order 1, 2, and 3 in their first at bat. We set the Baylor lineup when we come back after this on Fox. Welcome back to Chickasaw Bricktown Ballpark in Oklahoma City. Nick Lofton's going to lead it off for the Baylor Bears. He'll be followed by Richard Cunningham. Shea Langoliers hits third. Andy Thomas, Davis Wetzel, and Cole Herring in the middle with Davian Downing, Josh Bissonette, and Chase Wesner rounding out the starting 9 for Steve Rodriguez, now in his 4th season as the Bears head coach. They'll be facing Jensen Elliott, who gets the start tonight for Oklahoma State.
Yeah, great story here. Missed almost the entire season last year recovering from Tommy John. Just had a fabulous year this year. You look at his record, 8-3. All 14 appearances have been in the start. 3.86 ERA. 81 innings pitched, 52 strikeouts, 31 walks. Big, strong right-hander, but he's got his work cut out for him. It's a good matchup. It's the best hitting team in the Big 12 at average, 315 average against a really good right-handed pitcher.
Leading it off is Nick Lofton at 329 on the season with 6 home runs and 39 runs driven in. Lofton yesterday in the victory over Oklahoma went 1 for 5, scored a run, drove in a run. Takes a strike there, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. The umpires for this 4th and final game of day number 2. Mike Morris is the home plate umpire calling balls and strikes. Michael Banks at first base. Casey Moser is at second. And Jeff Henricks, who was behind the plate for a game earlier today, is down the line at third. 2 balls and a strike now to Lofton.
Well, the umpires were busy in the last game. They were up that tunnel a lot.
Just making sure that video replay worked.
Yeah, I had a couple of reviews in the last game.
Couple?
Well, I was being nice.
I think there was a half dozen. I think a half dozen replays. And I'm not sure West Virginia really wanted all of them, because I think they were about 1 for 5. There's a ball flipped over to first. Garcia hangs on the bag and is able to get the out.
Really good play on both ends right here. Funk does a good job going to his left to get this ball. But Lofton runs really well. You see the ball going to his left right here, reaches out to it. Doesn't quite get his feet and his shoulders squared back around. Garcia, using that big old frame, stretches out there a long ways, able to keep that right foot on the bag. Good play all the way around.
I think that throw may have pulled him off the bag, and he was at the wherewithal to get his toe back on the bag to get the out.
We just had that discussion about the replays.
Want to look at some replay?
No.
We think that he was out. We just want to check it one more time. But it's a great play. It's a nice play by Funk at third. A better play at first by Alex Garcia. We talked about the defense yesterday. Here's a guy who made a great play last night. It's going to be a routine fly ball out to Trevor Boone. And there's 2 away. That's off the bat of Richard Cunningham. This is a Baylor offense that, as Mick said, hit .315 in the regular season. That has 7 hitters at or above 300.
Yeah, they just keep coming at you. You know, you just got to keep making quality pitch after quality pitch, and they've got a lot of ways to beat you. They've got speed, they've got some power.
Langoliers at .317 this season. He had a home run last night, had a terrific night at the plate, going 2 for 3. He scored a couple of runs and also drove in 2 others.
And he's one of those guys like Wenzel that did not play at certain points of the season. Out with a little bit of an injury. Well, a big part of an injury.
Yeah, had a fractured hamate bone in his hand. Had the operation, missed about 10 games, maybe 11. Fortunately for Baylor, that was early in the season. And by the time conference play rolled around, Langoliers was back to 100% and behind the plate every day. Elliott outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away. Oklahoma State win in order in the top half of the first. Elliott's trying to set the Bears down the same way. And now the 2-2 offering. Swung on and missed. Foul tipped, held on to by Carter. And that does retire the side. So a strikeout for Elliott. And it gets a big bat to go down in Langoliers. Each team sends the minimum to the plate in their respective halves of the first. So we played 1 at Chickasaw Bricktown Ballpark in Oklahoma City. The finale of day 2 between Oklahoma State and Baylor is scoreless on Fox. Terrific ball game last night between Oklahoma State and TCU. 5-2 was the final score, and as expected, Oklahoma State used the long ball to get some distance from the Horned Frogs, and they did so against Nick Lodolo, one of the best pitchers in the entire country. Colin Simpson went down to his shoe tops to hit one high in the air, used the wind. That carried over the fence in the second inning. A solo shot. Trevor Boone had a 2-run home run of his own in that 4-run sixth that proved to be the difference in the game. Oklahoma State again won that by a score of 5-2. That improved the Cowboys to 33-17 on the season. TCU picked up its 30th win of the year earlier today, eliminating Oklahoma.
Terry, the more I watched that Simpson home run, man, that was a good pitch that Lodolo threw.
Ball is struck out to left center field. That's off the bat of Andrew Navigado. And the Cowboys have the leadoff man on base as they begin the second inning. Both teams win in order in their respective at-bats in the first inning. And here's
that
Trevor
has
Boone.
not happened frequently in this tournament so far.
At all. There have been some rather lengthy innings, none longer than the one we saw earlier today in that TCU win over Oklahoma. The Horned Frogs trailed going into their half of the fourth inning, 1-0. They'd been out hit 7-1 by Oklahoma. To take a look at Trevor Boone swinging and missing. And in the bottom half of the fourth inning, TCU sent not 9 batters to the plate, not 12, 18 batters to the plate in the bottom half of the fourth inning. That's a Big 12 tournament record, and they scored a Big 12 tournament record 14 runs in the bottom half of inning number 4. And ended up defeating Oklahoma by a score of 15-3, shortened because of the run rule. And TCU remains alive in the tournament, and they did so thanks to an exhausting the fourth inning. That had to have taken over an hour.
I'm not sure I've seen a beer league softball game. Whoop.
A throw that gets over the glove of the first baseman Wesner, and that's going to allow Navigado to take second. That ball sailed on the pitcher.
Yeah, it looks like he just lost complete control of it when he went to turn and do his pickoff throw. Forgive me, I don't remember seeing a team bat around twice in one inning. Yeah, this ball just looked like he never had control of it, and then not much chance right there.
So the error by the pitcher puts Oklahoma State into scoring position with Navigado. 2 strikes to the hitter Trevor Boone. That's outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Boone on the season at .296. Last night's home run, his 19th of the season. He also has 48 runs driven in. Nobody down, top half of the first inning. Good job by Langoliers. The count moves to 2-2. You have one of the best catching prospects in the country, and Shea Langoliers behind the plate for Baylor.
Yeah, they're just good players all over the field. When you look at some of the draft projections coming up and some of the players that we not only have here tonight, Texas Tech, Manoa, the pitcher that pitched the first game for West Virginia.
Ball hit hard right at the shortstop. That's Lofton. Good throw over to Westner, and that retires Boone. Navigado stays put.
You know, I went down to field level. You know, sometimes, I mean, these kids look like they're throwing hard from up here, but down at field level, the kid from West Virginia was really impressive.
Alec Manoa, the Big 12 Conference Pitcher of the Year, a unanimous selection. He is an imposing figure.
Yeah, he's a big old kid. He's got a nice, easy arm. And he throws hard, and he throws all his pitches for strikes.
West Virginia knocked Texas Tech into the losers bracket. Randy Mazey's team is unbeaten and will have the day off tomorrow. Would you say there are about 40 to 50 major league scouts and higher up personnel?
Yeah, there's, I mean, front office people, assistant general managers, there's at least 40 that I saw sitting down. They're everywhere. There's stopwatches, radar guns, notepads, everywhere down there.
One strike to the hitter, Carson McCusker. That's tapped at the plate. 0-2 with one away. Well, Manoa did not disappoint those who came to see him. He probably wasn't the only one, because there were some stars on display in that game. Josh Young, the outstanding shortstop and Big 12 Conference Player of the Year for Texas Tech. Cam Warren.
About the two plays that the center fielder made, too.
Oh,
right?
Brandon White, man alive. The 0-2.
One going to his left and over his shoulder, and then coming in and diving on down. Tell you, West Virginia looked good.
They did.
That is a good, solid ball club that Randy Mazey's got.
Yeah, coming to Oklahoma City, you see Texas Tech's the 1 seed. You've got the 2 seed Baylor Bears, 3rd seeded Oklahoma State. But I don't think anybody here would say that if West Virginia won this, it's an upset in any way. I don't think that would surprise anybody.
Not at all. And right now, the way that they're playing themselves into a regional host. I mean, to me, they looked that good a while ago.
Got a terrific matchup tonight with Baylor and Oklahoma State. 2 balls and 2 strikes to 6'7" Carson McCusker. Oklahoma State's left fielder, .316 on the season. And he's going to take a little bit of time. McCusker 5 home runs with 34 runs driven in. He had a couple of nice plays defensively as well. Loping in from left field, sliding and making catches just short of the wall. Swing and a miss, and down he goes. That's the 3rd strikeout of the game for Jimmy Winston.
Yeah, it just looked like he chased a breaking ball down in the dirt right there. Give Winston credit. He's made good pitches when he had to. Yeah, Oklahoma State, they're an aggressive, free-swinging team. They're not going to get any cheap hacks in there.
All 3 strikeouts for Winston. Batters have gone down swinging. And now Bryce Carter, .282 hitter. Right-hander to left-hander. Misses a bit. 1 ball and no strikes. Cowboys with 33 wins. Baylor with 34 wins. Oklahoma State has now won 4 consecutive coming into play in this Big 12 tournament. 1 ball and 1 strike.
I don't know if you can hear it in your headset, but Josh Holiday down there encouraging his hitters. Tell them to stick to their plan. He is a load of energy down there. I've never seen him at any point at any game ever get down. He stays up. His players recognize that. They play hard for him.
High and away, off to the left and out of play. The wind continues to blow at Chickasaw Bricktown Ballpark. It has been right to left throughout the tournament to this point. At times we've seen some balls hit high in the air and the wind has taken it out of the yard. We've also seen some baseballs that have been crushed and needed no help whatsoever. But the conditions are always of concern, always a bit of a factor when the conference gathers together in downtown Oklahoma City.
Well, the first night here, is it Thomas who hit the ball over the right field bullpen?
Yeah. For
Baylor?
Yep.
He hit it out there where those
swinging and missing.
People are out there resting in the chairs.
Right. 4 strikeouts already through 2 innings for Jimmy Winston. They got a leadoff single from Navigado, but he got stranded. So we'll go to the bottom half of inning number 2. Scoreless between the...
Well, the momentum from last year, we were a young team from last year. So coming into this year, we knew we had a special opportunity. We had a lot of guys coming back. We really only lost a few guys out of our bullpen. And like you said, last year we caught fire, and we could play with anybody in the country. And last year was a really special run. And I mean, this year we've had a few fallbacks with some injuries, but we're still a really special group of guys just building off what we did last year, and we know what we're capable of.
That's Baylor catcher Shea Langoliers. He is their leader, talking about the next step in the process for Baylor. Last year's victory in the Big 12 Conference Tournament. They won the championship in extra innings, a 6-5, 11-inning victory over TCU that kept the Horned Frogs out of the NCAA regionals, but it advanced Baylor. This is the 4th season for Steve Rodriguez, and every year there has been incremental improvement. His first season they were 24-29. That was in 2016. Baylor's at the plate. This is Andy Thomas hitting a high fly ball to relatively deep left field, caught by McCusker, and there's one away. The second season for Steve Rodriguez, after going sub-500 that first year, they turn around and go 34-23, a 10-win improvement from one year to the next. Went to an NCAA regional, played in Houston, and then last year, as Langoliers was mentioning, they won the Big 12 Conference Tournament Championship. They went to the regionals again, won 37 games last year. Every year it has been just a little bit better and a little bit better. And there's a real dynamic with Baylor baseball right now. A lot of spirit in the program. And Steve Rodriguez has done a great job in putting him back into prominence nationally.
Remarkable. Yeah, you start to see him in the recruiting part of it. They're starting to get better and better players. But what he's done, he's come in and he's done what a lot of the coaches in the Big 12 especially did, and they've challenged their teams early by scheduling. And it's gotten them ready for postseason play later on in the season. And both these teams are veteran teams that have seen this before, so it's not going to be any surprise to them.
Well, in that soundbite, Shea Langoliers mentioned the players coming in, or the players coming back, rather. This is Davis Wenzel hitting it under the glove of Funk, sprinting to first and beating out the throw. So the Big 12's leading hitter is on base. It's probably going to be a base hit. That ball was hard hit.
Look, they're still trying to make up their mind. I think it's a base hit. That ball was hit hard to Funk's left. Well, I don't know. You look at it from right there. That's an error.
We were being generous. Sorry, Davis. Big 12 Conference co-player of the year, Davis Wenzel. Had a tough night last night. He went 0 for 4. Now 0 for 5 in the tournament. Reaching on the air. We're happy to be on base. But getting back to the Baylor roster, they returned 20 letter winners from last year. Lost just 8 players. And among those coming back, all 9 returning position starters. So the expectations justifiably were high coming into this year. And the key guy coming back.
Good players that were coming back.
Yeah, the key guy is Langoliers. His leadership and the job he does behind the plate. That pitch from Elliott to Cole Herring.
Well, it'll be interesting to see where he and Wenzel fall in the draft. I mean, there's some talk about Langoliers going in the first round and then the upper tier of the first round.
The 1-1 with 1 away and a quick throw to first base that has Wenzel diving back. Herring, a lofty .341 batting average this season. It's pretty good when your 6-hole hitter is hitting at .341, following a guy that hit .375. 59 hits on the year. Low and away. 2-1.
Baylor not a team that runs a lot. They do have 41 stolen bases on the year. Only been caught 16 times, so that's a really good percentage.
Wenzel has 11 stolen bases. One of the reasons why Elliott threw over earlier. And again, keep him close. We're in the bottom of the second, scoreless between Baylor and Oklahoma State. Snap throw down, and that ricochets off the glove of Garcia. That's going to roll toward right field, and Wenzel never stopped. He's on his way to third. The throw's off the line, and on that throwing error by Bryce Carter, Davis Wenzel goes all the way, corner to corner, to put Baylor in scoring position with one down.
Yeah, he never stopped. And this is the only thing that I love, the aggressiveness. I don't like the throw being from on the ground. You know, get up on your feet and throw the ball. When guys drop to their knees, I just don't know if they have as much control over it. Like I said, I love the aggressiveness. It just, that's that risk versus reward.
Good job by Wenzel to run the bases. Here's Herring now with a 2-1 pitch. Is fouled back, so it's 2-2. What I liked in that highlight that we saw with Wenzel going first to third, he had his head down looking at second base, picked up the third base coach. What do I do? He didn't give in to that human nature. Some guys will look at their coach and then look back to see where the ball is.
Well, he trusted his coach.
Exactly.
Because that was his eyes.
Yep. Ball chopped to third base, and it just does roll foul.
Boy, nice job by Funk right there, letting that ball go foul. You know, you're playing on a field that you're not real familiar with, the ball down the line. That sometimes these fields that you got speed teams, they have a tendency to want to stay fair. This ball's fair for quite a while. And right here at the very end, lays off of it and
gets out of the way.
Just goes foul.
And not just one, but 2 runs scored on a bunt to first base.
Well, and these teams don't have time to take in and out.
Beautiful pitch by Elliott. He gets Herring down on strikes. That's his second strikeout. And the second out of the inning.
This is another one of those, I call them situational hittings. Where, once again, a ground ball in the middle of the field right here. Baylor gets a run. Really good pitch right there. Sinking fastball, threw it back door to the right hand. What I mean by it, threw away from him, started the ball off the plate, comes back, catches the outside corner. But I just think a lot of times, you know, these players, and it's not like he was trying to strike out right there, don't get me wrong, but just survey the field and just realize you hit a ground ball to shortstop, you're going to get an RBI, your team's going to get a run. And that run right there in the bottom of the second could be just as important as a base hit in the bottom of the 8th.
Especially the way these two pitchers are starting out this game. Both Winston and Elliott have been fantastic. 1 ball, 1 strike with 2 away. Davian Downey's at the plate, a .250 hitter. And he's behind now 1-2.
But my point about taking the in and out, I mean, what I mean by that is infield, outfield, is that these teams don't have an opportunity to get out here and do that. A lot of times you'll see these teams, when they do it, the catchers will roll balls down the line just to see what the ball is doing, so they'll know what their calls are going to be. If the bunts, ball's right down the line. You know, you've got a speed team. There's teams that will tilt the lines to keep the ball fair.
What?
No. But,
field maintenance gamesmanship.
We didn't have a whole bunch of kitty litter out in the front of home plate in Detroit with the infield grass about 4 inches tall. But we had a bunch of sinker ball pitchers.
And no doubt there were some of those teams that you played that wanted to do whatever they could to, you know, limit your speed.
Oh, no question.
Take your speed game away from you.
No question.
The 2-2 pitch. Downey reaches out, lifts it foul, left side, and it's not playable for Funk. He got in the neighborhood, but that was a tough play.
Yeah, it's going to be tough all the way. Running down the line, and that little angle right there from the stands comes in there quickly. You see him right here. It's going to be a tough play. It's going to be over his shoulder. Ball hits in foul ground. You'd probably like to see him, if he could, maybe take a quick peek just to see where the stands are. You're relying on Navigado, too, to help you out, let you know where the wall is.
The 2-2 just off the plate outside. So we're full. Davis Wenzel remains over there at third base. He reached on an error and then reached third on another error. Can Oklahoma State get out of it without having those errors be costly? Downey fouls it back again.
You were close to having to make a play on that ball.
Yeah, I was prepared. This will be the 9th pitch of this at bat. Elliott has 2 strikeouts already, and now he's got 3, and he is fired up. This is the 2019 Phillips 66 Big 12 Conference Baseball Championship, and it's coming to you from Chickasaw Bricktown Ballpark in beautiful downtown Oklahoma City. Love being back and love seeing the Big 12 bring its best baseball teams to town. And we begin things in the top half of the 3rd inning with Oklahoma State coming to the plate. We're still scoreless. Baylor threatened. Davis Wenzel reached on an error and then went from first to third on a throwing error by the catcher Bryce Carter. But Jensen Elliott got the job done on the mound, striking out Herring, striking out Downey, and leaving Wenzel at third. Only hit of the game belongs to the Cowboys. That was Andrew Navigado. He led off the second and got stranded at second base. Alex Garcia is leading things off. 2 balls and a strike to him.
And both these pitchers seem to be in a really nice groove early in this game. Both of them throwing a lot of strikes, making good quality pitches. They both know it's 2 really good offenses they're facing.
Garcia rips this into right center field. That'll split the defenders and roll to the wall. He's at first on his way to second, and it's a stand-up double to begin the 3rd for Oklahoma State.
This ball was smoked into right center right here. Looks like Garcia does a really good job getting his hands inside the ball, stays through the ball really nice. Little tailing fastball in the inner 3rd. He just drills it into right center. I think that ball was by the second baseman before he jumped.
Garcia at 301 this season. That's his 5th double of 2019. Production out of the number 8 spot in the lineup, and now Cade Cavanis hitting in the 9 hole. First pitch to him, a ball, 1-0. Cavanis at 253 on the season. Scored 30 runs. That's impressive.
It's a little bit different situation here, but still a situational hitting place. Cavanis wants to try to get a ball to the right side here, advance the runner. Ground ball, fly ball. You know, ideally you want to see the ball hit the outfield grass as well, but something you can pull.
Wenzel at third base is playing even with the bag. Well off the line. You've got the shortstop, Lofton, playing in as well and playing very close to the bag at second base, standing behind the runner.
Well, Garcia doesn't run that well, but you never know. He doesn't have a very big lead at all.
Lofton backs off. That pitch fouled back, and the count holds at 1-2.
And that's 2 balls right there that was away from Cavanis and popped both of them up to the left side. Once again, you go try to get something you can pull hard on the ground or fly ball to center field, right field, deep enough to advance the runner. Certainly makes it a lot easier to score him from third base than it does from second.
The ball on 2 strikes to Cade Cavanis. And down he goes on strikes. And that is the 5th strikeout of the game, and all of them have been swinging. First out of the inning.
Yeah, just another good quality pitch. You know, mentioned it earlier, Oklahoma State's a free swinging team. That's a sinker that's down and away from Cavanis. It's just not quite able to make contact.
So with 1 away, we go back to the top of the order, and Houston Morrill. He struck out to begin the game. Morrill at 269. And he takes a strike. Alex Garcia is the runner out at second base. He doubled earlier to begin the inning. Houston, Hueston. Freshman out of Live Oak, Florida.
Really come in and solidified the second base position. Taking over the leadoff role. This is a veteran team Oklahoma State's got. They don't have a lot of young guys playing.
Hit to Wenzel at third. His throw is good to first. And they look Garcia back to the bag at second. 2 away.
Now the third baseman, Christian Funk.
So here's Christian Funk. He also struck out in that first inning. Funk's average at 241. Last night he went 0 for 4.
Home runs on the year, 40 RBIs. One of a few guys in the middle of this Oklahoma State lineup that can hit the ball out of the ballpark.
Funk is a Californian from Fresno. He played 2 years of community college ball at Fresno City College. The first pitch to him, and it's called a strike. Looked a bit high.
Winston has made some really good pitches when he's had to. Got himself into a couple of little jams with runners at second. Nobody out, and he's so far made some really good quality pitches to get himself out of it.
Launched high in the air. Is it deep? Will the wind aid it? It's going to take it to the track, and that's all the farther it's going to go. Getting back to make the catch is Richard Cunningham, and Oklahoma State strands the leadoff double. Alex Garcia got there and stayed there. So the top of the third has come to an end, and Jimmy Winston continues to pitch brilliantly. We'll see Jensen Elliott take to the mound for the Cowboys when we come back.
Austin Trout, Terrell Gachet.
Don't get no bigger than this.
Premier Boxing Champions. Saturday, 8 Eastern on FS1.
Well, we started kind of late tonight with this 4th game of the second day of this tournament, but that has not dampened the spirits and enthusiasm of the fans at Chickasaw Bricktown Ballpark in Oklahoma City. They had good crowds for both Oklahoma State and Baylor. They've been waiting all day for this one, and so have we. And so far, it's been a great pitching matchup.
They're enjoying the nightlife.
Yeah. They're a little more subdued. Settling in to watch Jensen Elliott get back to work, facing Josh Bissonette. Bissonette at 263.
Maybe they had already danced and sat down. They were just catching their breath.
Bissonette, Wesner, and back to the top of the order, and Nick Lofton, 8-9-1 for the Baylor Bears. 2 balls and no strikes.
Yeah, there you get a good look at the 6'6" Jensen Elliott. Brother Jake pitched at the University of Oklahoma, now at the Chicago White Sox.
Bissonette flies this to center field. Trevor Boone got all turned around, but got where he needed to be and makes the catch. 1 away.
mentioned it earlier, Elliott. Tommy John 2 years ago missed the majority of last year, came back to get a few innings in late in the year, but he has really come on this year, been that Friday night guy that they have counted on all year long, and he is not disappointed.
Off the plate to Chase Wesner. First baseman hitting .298. And a ball and a strike. This may be a question that would be better asked to George Frazier, who would give us no doubt a unique response because he's just being a pitcher. But you having worked as a catcher for so long in the majors, when you got a game like we have right now that's developing, two great teams, but both pitchers are starting to dominate. You've got Jimmy Winston for Baylor, Jensen Elliott. Does it become a game within the game where the pitchers start to duel each other?
Well, it does, but I mean, you're basically just focusing on your guy. You're trying to make the best suggestions, if you will, as a catcher for him, trying to use his strengths the best you can. Sometimes those strengths match up against the hitter's strengths. But I think you understand, and you have a really good feel that, your pitcher is on. He's in total command of all of his pitches and can throw them at any time. Now, at this level, that falls to a guy like Rob Walton, who's over there calling the pitches.
But do you get the sense that your guy is kind of eyeballing the other guy too?
Absolutely. And I think that they both know that, hey, look, neither side is scoring any runs. They've both gotten out of some slight jams here early. Boy, good pitch right there. Breaking ball off the outside part of the plate. And you realize, especially with both these teams at one swing of the bat, and you're behind the game because they can both hit home runs.
Who's on the mound? That's the fourth strikeout.
But you see it there. Really good late, sharp breaking ball that catches the outside part of the plate. Carter does a nice job receiving that ball to give the umpire a really good look.
Strike taken by Nick Lofton.
And the one thing I really like what both these guys are doing right now, they're both in rhythm. Their catchers are keeping them in rhythm. Carter catches the ball, boom, strike. He looks in the dugout, gets the next pitch.
Bouncer out to the first baseman Garcia. Says, I'll take it myself. Touches the bag and retires his side. Second time in 3 at-bats that Baylor has gone in order. 3 up and 3 down. And through 3, the Bears remain hitless. And we are scoreless between the Cowboys and the Bears in the Big 12 tourney. With Mickey Tettleton, I'm Bill Dolman. Welcome back to Chickasaw Bricktown Ballpark in Oklahoma City. Oklahoma State and Baylor in the final game of the day. I'm going to take an opportunity right now to visit with Steve Rodriguez, the head coach of the Baylor Bears. And Steve, I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, both your teams know that you're going to the NCAA regionals. This is a terrific matchup for baseball fans to see two of the best kind of go against each other and see who's best right now. What do you think of this matchup?
Well, it's about, 10 o'clock tonight? You know what? You got two pretty good pitching matchups right now and two pretty good offensive teams. Oklahoma State is a really impressive offense with the amount of home runs they can hit, and we're just trying to keep them inside the yard right now.
Yeah, got to be happy with their pitchers so far. Had a couple of situations, runner at second, nobody out, and able to get out of both those situations.
No, exactly. The only person that could probably drive them in certain points right now is Mickey Tettleton, and that's the only thing I can say.
Okay, we got to go.
We'll see you guys.
Steve, thank you. Good luck, and congratulations on a great season. Steve Rodriguez, his 4th year as the head coach of the Baylor Bears. They were in first place. About 6 games to go in the conference season. Had a game-and-a-half lead on Texas Tech. Things didn't quite go their way, and it was only a 2-game series in Stillwater the final weekend of the season, and Oklahoma State won both of those games. Texas Tech went on the roll it needed to, and that's why Texas Tech captured the regular season title. But Baylor was right there, and he's got the program perpetuating itself now. He's built it up. I mentioned that each season has gotten a little bit better, but they've really got it going on right now in Waco.
Yeah, they do, and they've got something to prove to Oklahoma State as well. That last weekend, they only played 2 games because of weather, and Oklahoma State was able to technically sweep the series. So they got something to prove to them. They were blown out in the first game in Stillwater, and then the second game was a lot more competitive, but they had the Big 12 regular season title well within their grasp.
And it's a leadoff walk to Colin Simpson. And the Cowboys have somebody on for the third consecutive inning. And for the third consecutive inning, it's the leadoff hitter. Navigado singled, reached second in the second inning. He was stranded there. Garcia led off the third inning with a double. He advanced no further. And now Simpson reaches on a walk to begin the fourth.
Oklahoma State is not a team that plays a lot of small ball. It's still early in the game, the fourth inning. You know, you've got the heart of your lineup coming up. Would be really surprised to see if Josh bunted right here, but you know, sometimes when you recognize that the other guy is on, you got to try to get guys in scoring position.
Can you imagine
if this is the 6th or 7th inning, they're squaring around a bunt.
Could you imagine if they played small ball back in the Gary Ward era with Incaviglia, Ventura, Burnetts, Tettleton?
Small ball was not in the vocabulary.
I didn't think so.
Oklahoma State baseball back then.
I don't think it is now. Grounded foul off to the left side. Was there even a signal for bunt?
I don't remember. There was for me because I hit in the 2-hole. Believe it or not, at one time I could run. I know that's going to surprise you.
Surprise, shock, stun.
Hey, 26 stolen bases in the big leagues. Yeah, baby.
We found out the other day that George Frazier got caught stealing once. Langoliers was set up outside for that pitch, and Winston went down the heart of the plate.
What did he steal?
He didn't. He got caught. He told us.
That's what I mean. No, he had to steal something and he got caught because it wasn't on. Could have been on the baseball field.
That pitch just off the plate outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Our good friend George Frazier was at first base, was playing for the Cubs, and Don Zimmer asked him to steal second. And of course, George, as we are right now, were perplexed. Why on earth would you want me to steal? But the ball fouled off the left side, and as he told us, the idea was for him to get out so they could. I think Dean Palmer. It wasn't Dean Palmer. They wanted somebody else to get up and lead off the next inning, so they needed George to get caught stealing to end the inning, and he accomplished that feat.
What do you say? Got about halfway down the line, tried to call timeout or something.
Bob Dernier. That's who they wanted. Bob Dernier to lead off the next inning. So George, go try and steal second, get caught so Dernier can lead off the next. There's a ball hit into left center field. Ball's in for a base hit. And the Cowboys are going to try to make it second and third with nobody down, and they do. Simpson sprinting from first to third, and Navigado has his second hit of the ball game.
Yeah, good job of hitting right here. Really good job of base running and realizing where the ball is in front of you by Simpson. You know, he looks out there, sees the ball's going to be to the right of the center fielder and just keeps right on chugging it. And on the backside of it, they don't hit the cutoff man, and Navigado goes into second base. You know, one of the things that you don't want to, is a little bit closer right there on the replay than what it looked like in live, but one of the things you do not want to do is make the first or third out at third base.
Strike taken by Trevor Boone, who grounded out to shortstop in the second inning. That's a great job by Navigado, trailing the play, seeing all that's happening in front of him, identifying that ball going toward third and taking an extra base. Setting up second and third. The 1-strike pitch. Boone laid off it, and Winston got the corner and the call 0-2.
Yeah, good pitch right there. Now, ideally, what you'd like to see Boone try to do is hit something to the right side right here. Not only were we going to score a run, but we can get Navigado over to third base as well. You know, try to stay right in the middle of the field, right center.
That gets away from Langoliers, but not far enough. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Boone, 19 home runs on the season.
I tell you, talking to Steve Rodriguez right there in the half inning, when we get a chance to talk to Josh, you can really understand why their players like playing. Both highly energetic guys, very positive guys. Both of them always encouraging their kids.
The 1-2 pitch outside. That's as careful with a pitch as we've seen Winston throw. Now, you don't want to make a mistake to a guy with 19 homers and 48 runs driven in.
No, you don't. And you do have a base open right here, even though it's early in the ball game. You know, so it's one of those deals right here. 2-2. Don't give in. Make him hit your pitch.
Ground ball past the shortstop into left field. That's going to bring in Simpson. Behind him, Navigado. It's a 2 RBI single for Trevor Boone, and Oklahoma State has taken a 2-0 lead on Baylor. That's RBI number 49 and 50 on the season for Boone.
Yeah, really good job right here. Winston makes a nice pitch, but Boone does a good job staying on the ball, cuts his swing down, puts the ball in play. You see it here. Just didn't try to do much with it. Just stayed with it. Ball was down. It's a good pitch. Good piece of base running right there by Navigado. He had to go back first, make sure that the ball gets through the infield on the left side.
Really aggressive base running by the Cowboys in this inning. That's fouled back by Carson McCusker, who struck out swinging back in the second inning.
Well, that's a sign of a good, fundamentally sound baseball team. You saw it in the earlier game with TCU and some of the bases, the extra bases that they were able to take. And it's a part of the game. It's that game within the game. You know, there's more to this game than just catching it, throwing it, and hitting it.
2 runs on 4 hits for the Cowboys. McCusker goes to short, gloved, flipped to second for 1, on to first, double play. Nice job by Lofton to stay with that after the hop.
Yeah, it's another ball that was hit hard, and Lofton does a really good job of staying with it. If he fields it, it's going to be a double play. Ball was hit hard. He didn't panic on it. Ball hopped up on him late. Able to get it over to the second baseman. You see the hop here. Well, that's late. Doesn't panic, stays with it, gives it a good flip. Bissonnette, good strong throw, double him up.
Ground ball foul off to the right side from Bryce Carter. Well, for 3 consecutive innings, Oklahoma State got the leadoff hitter on base one way or another, a single, a double in the second and third, respectively. Both were stranded, but in the 4th, it's a walk to Colin Simpson that opens the door for the Cowboys to score a couple of runs. Navigado followed him with that base hit. Trevor Boone, a 2 RBI single. And now 2 away for Carter, who struck out swinging to end the second inning. He's at 280 on the season.
It's just a lot of firepower all up and down the Oklahoma State lineup.
And that is pulled hard, foul.
Well, second time around now that they've seen Winston. Guys are starting to have a little bit more comfortable swings against him.
The 1-2 off speed, caught the inside corner for strike 3. That is 6 strikeouts now in the game for Jimmy Winston. But this time he exits the field with his team trailing. A couple of runs scored by the Cowboys to take a 2-0 lead as we go to the bottom half of the 4th. Welcome back to Bricktown Ballpark in Oklahoma City. 2-0 is our score. The Oklahoma State Cowboys have the lead on the Baylor Bears as we go to the bottom half of the 4th inning. Gives us an opportunity to chat with Oklahoma State head coach Josh Holliday. Josh, your team's off to a good start with that 2-0 lead, but let me ask you a question in generality. This is a conference with great coaches, but you may be the best ambassador of all for Big 12 Conference baseball. Why does this conference mean so much to you?
Well, I think the proof is in the quality of the players. And tremendous talent on the field all over this tournament. The quality of the teams, when you look at what the different ball clubs have done this year, and obviously the quality of the coaching. There's some of the best coaches in the country in the Big 12, and there's some programs that have been perennial participants in Omaha, and there's just a lot of really special people that make up Big 12 baseball, and I think when you come out and see a tournament like this, you can see it on display.
Josh, what Jensen has been through the last couple of years with the surgery, you got to be really happy for him and watching his comeback, and then just the quality of pitches he's throwing.
No doubt. When he's throwing the sinker and throwing the changeup and attacking the strike zone, you see a lot of ground balls. We just got to pick them up clean and keep the game moving.
Josh, thanks for your time. Congratulations on the great season.
Thanks, bud.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
When Josh Holliday got the job as the head coach at Oklahoma State, it was unanimous around the country that if there is one guy in this business perfect for one certain job, it's Josh Holliday at OSU.
Well, one of the first things Josh did was kind of what Bob Stoops did with Oklahoma football. He got on the phone and said, I need our alumni to come back and be part of this, and guys have come back. He's been in contact with a lot of people, obviously this year with Ali P. But it's an open door for the alumni to come back, and I'm not so sure that, and then not taking anything away from Frank Anderson, but I talked to Josh more than the first month than I did Frank Anderson when he was the head coach at Oklahoma State, and I think it's just great. He embraces what his dad Tom and Gary Ward were able to establish in the tradition of Oklahoma State baseball. Well, he was part of it. He was a player. He was a really good player.
Richard Cunningham leads off the bottom of the fourth for Baylor, who now trails at 2-0.
But I think, once again, I think you can understand when you talk to both these guys and you just hear the enthusiasm in their voice, for not only their team, but just college baseball in general. Josh, when we were talking to him the other day in the conferences, just the way that he was just really proud of not only his team, but the Big 12, what they've been able to accomplish this year.
Yeah, every year we have an opportunity to talk to the Big 12 coaches, and it just strikes me that he's passionate about his Cowboys, but he is very much a promoter of Big 12 Conference baseball and what this league does throughout the course of the regular season, how coaches have scheduled to make sure that the conference RPI is high, and then when you have a league that is number 2 in the country, nobody sings that higher from the mountaintops than Josh Holliday.
Yeah.
Former conference coach of the year. His 2016 team went to the College World Series and may well have been the best team in the country that year. Didn't get it done, didn't bring home the trophy, but that was really the season that established him and this reestablished Oklahoma State baseball, among the most prominent in the nation.
And they've gotten back to what Oklahoma State baseball was about, and that's winning championships.
And you saw that strength of schedule on that graphic a moment ago. Toughest schedule in the country for Oklahoma State.
Well, what this team has had to go through the last 3 weeks of the season, and really it started with Texas at home. They were able to sweep Texas at home. Texas, which is still strange, is coming out of our mouths that are not even here at the Big 12 tournament. You look at them there, number 8 in the RPI, number 1 strength of schedule, but what they were due. And then they went on the road to Texas Tech, and they really did not play good. They were not in any of those games out there, and Texas Tech handed it to them. And you think, my gosh, now that we got to go to Oregon State, the number 2 ranked team in the country with the pitching staff that they have, and they go out there and sweep them. And we're able to take 2 or 3 in Bedlam from a really good Oklahoma team last weekend of the season, take 2 from Baylor. That's one thing I really appreciate about both these teams and the Big 12. Jim Schlossnagle, what he does with his team. They challenge themselves early. They're not afraid to go out and play the best teams in the country in other conferences.
Andy Thomas hits this foul off to the left. Baylor is still in search of its first hit in this game. They have had a base runner. That was Davis Wenzel, who reached on an error in the second inning. Managed to get to third, but was left there.
Nice gesture right there. A fan tossing a ball down to the kid. By next week, that kid will be telling his friends I drove over 3 roads, made a diving catch, and didn't spill a guy's adult beverage that was sitting behind me.
Yep. Watching all those Mickey Tettleton highlight videos paid off for him. That's tapped. And the count holds at 2 balls and 2 strikes. I got to be honest with you. I still can't get out of my mind the pictures of George Frazier on base trying to steal one. We got into that discussion about how many times he hit and when the last time was that he hit, and if he ever fouled a pitch off, like on his foot or knee, and if it would have hurt. He said no, because he didn't swing hard enough. We got no disagreement.
He had 3 hits though at the big leagues, didn't he? Didn't he get 3 hits?
Sure.
I think that's what he said. Yeah. Hey, George could pitch. You know, he had a good career.
Here's the 3-2. Back up the middle, flag down by Elliott.
Well, that's 2 really good plays in this inning by Elliott. You're talking about a big guy, 6'6", that's able to move his feet around really nice, field his position, extremely important for a pitcher.
Third time in 4 innings. Great reaction. That's living pretty good right there. Grab a beach chair and hang out on the berm and watch some Big 12 baseball on a beautiful night in Oklahoma City. Great game going on with Baylor taking on Oklahoma State. The Bears the number 2 seed. The Cowboys the number 3 seed. 2-0 is our score. Oklahoma State has the lead after plating 2 runs in the top half of the 4th inning. We move to the 5th. Leading it off is Alex Garcia, who led off the 3rd with a double, but he advanced no further. The Cowboys have left 2 men on base to this point in the game. Baylor, without a hit, has stranded 1. Jimmy Winston
the guy
out there
in the middle out there, he looks like he's about ready to start twitching and drooling at any moment.
Well, if he got here for the opening game at 9 o'clock, yeah, that's possible.
That's a pretty nice setup out there. It's got some lawn chairs, just kick back, watch a little college baseball. Beautiful night to do it.
I don't see the cornhole games going on right now, but the 2-2 pitch is hit high in the air, straight away center field. That's Richard Cunningham underneath it. Waits a while and makes the catch. Garcia is retired.
Might be a little late for the kids right now. Most of them got out of school, though, this week. There we go.
Some look like they're having fun.
Absolutely.
Some look like it's late. Here's Kate Capitas hitting in the 9th spot and fouling away at the first pitch, 0-1.
Yeah, good crowd, especially this time of night. Oklahoma State crowd, they always follow them really well. Baylor, good turnout. It's a big ball game for both these teams. They're both solidly in the postseason. If they can find a way to get into that championship game and win the conference tournament, I think Oklahoma State's now a national seed. And if Baylor can find a way to get there, they're hosting.
Yeah, that's really what's on the line for these 2 teams. Is where will they be in the postseason? Fastball in, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, good idea right there. Everything has been away from him, and tries to pound the fastball in right there. See if you can get him leaning out over the plate. Make him move his feet just a little bit and have the ball sink back over the plate. There they go again, away from him.
And the count moves to 2-2. Well, Baylor has won 3 Big 12 championships all time, 2000, 2005, and 2012. And that 2012 team hosted a regional in Waco. It's the last time that Baylor has hosted Next pitch fouled back. Last 2 years they've gone to regionals, having gone to Houston, played at Stanford. But their sights this season, at this point in the season, is to bring the NCAA back home to Waco. They averaged just under 2,000 fans at the Baylor ballpark per home game this year. And they were very good at home, 25-6. Fouled again, this time the other way.
A beautiful ballpark down there, beautiful campus.
20 years they've been playing at Baylor Ballpark. I can't believe that park has been open that long.
Yeah.
Still looks terrific. They've had a winning record there every year that they played there.
And then the ballpark that Oklahoma State is getting a brand new ballpark.
Now that's not fair to compare to anybody.
No, not at this point, because it's going to be state of the art everything. You know, he asked me last night in the Oklahoma State game if it was going to play any differently, and I think that's something that they're still waiting to see. The direction of the field is going to basically face the same way towards the northeast. There's a good fastball right there. They worked him away, and just pounded him in a couple of times and just got him caught looking on the inside fastball.
That is strikeout number 7 on the night, and it's the first one in which a batter got caught looking. Beautiful pitch, though, by Winston.
Just the little bit of tailing fastball. It's a backdoor fastball. As a hitter, you're recognizing ball, and you see the reaction by Cavanis there. Just a late little tail at the end of that pitch and catches the inside corner.
Top of the order in Houston Morrill, who struck out to begin the game and then grounded out to third in his only other plate appearance.
But they're still seeing how they think the park is going to play, because it is going to set further in the ground, the playing surface, than Alley P does. It's going to be what I guess you could say below street level. So are the winds, the south winds that affected at Alley P, are they going to be the same thing? It's Obrat is the way they pronounce it.
Okay.
Obrat. Pardon me if I got it wrong. I apologize to the
2 balls and 1 strike with 2 away. Grounded left side. This is to Wenzel at third. And for the second time tonight, he throws out Morrill, and that retires the side. Oklahoma State 1, 2, 3 for the second time tonight. They did it the first, and they go down in order again in the 5th. Oklahoma State does not add to its lead, but the Cowboys do have the lead 2-0 over Baylor as we go to the bottom half of 5. Davis Wenzel is going to lead things off for Baylor in the home half of inning number 5. The Bears trail at 2-0. Wenzel, a fantastic year. Hit .385 to lead the Big 12 Conference. 8 home runs, 39 runs driven in. Look at that slugging percentage, .647. Those offensive numbers combined with a solid play defensively at third base. It's one of the reasons why David Wenzel is the conference co-player of the year with Texas Tech's Josh Young.
Yeah, both those kids had great years. You know, Wenzel did not play against Oklahoma State. He's coming back from an oblique strain. So it's nice to have, you know, anytime you can have the player of the year back in your lineup. Plus, he plays a really good third base as well. Just an all-around really good player.
He's been pretty much the everyday guy for Steve Rodriguez since he arrived from San Clemente, California. Played in 50 games in 2017. Played in and started all 58 games last year. This year, Wenzel upped his average from .310 a year ago when he was first team All Big 12 to .385 this season. And after last year, he was drafted in the 37th round by the Boston Red Sox. Opted not to sign in round 37. He's probably going to do better than that. And to come back and hit .385, I'm guessing the phone's going to ring a little earlier this year.
I mean, he was not going to, you know, he comes back and has a year that he does. He's obviously improved his draft stock. And if he'd have had the same type of year, more than likely he's going to get the same type of draft round, same type of money to sign as a senior.
He is a junior.
Or as a junior.
But he's draft eligible.
Yes.
He's the only Bear to reach tonight.
I would say he's made himself a lot more money than. It's another one of those guys, though. Be interesting to see where he falls. Langolier, projected first-round draft pick as a catcher.
There are a lot of high prospects in this conference. That's fouled off his foot. Throw to first base for good measure, but home plate umpire Mike Morris says that's a foul ball. Count holds 2 balls and 2 strikes. Watching Wenzel, Langoliers, draft prospects. We saw Nick Lodolo last night for Texas, for TCU. Figures to be top 10, perhaps a top 5 pick overall, not just top 5 rounds. Alek Manoah earlier tonight against West Virginia proved that it might be a top 5 pick too. A terrific performance in picking up the victory for West Virginia over Texas Tech.
Tell you, that kid, he keeps pitching like that. You know, he gets drafted. He's not going to be in the minor leagues very long.
Right.
And that's an arm that can help somebody in a hurry.
Check to swing, did not go. And the count moves full. Wenzel's leading it off in the bottom half of the 5th. He reached on an error, a throwing error by the third baseman back in the 2nd inning. And he didn't go.
Nah, not even close.
And that ball is ripped into left field for the first hit of the game for Baylor. And Wenzel ends up at second base.
Yeah, the throw gets by the second baseman wall here, and it's a heads up but gutsy play by Wenzel, because you've got the leadoff hitter on, and you certainly do not want to run into an out that way.
And now we're going to have a video conference, if you will. Cowboys think he was out. Wenzel thinks he's safe. The umpires come together, and they're going to head in the dugout to take a look.
This ball was laced into left field. And you're thinking right here, it's okay. It's just your standard throw it in. It does not show the throw getting by the middle infielder there. Looks like to me, from that angle, looks like he got the left hand in, unless he came off the bag.
I think that's the question.
Before the knee hit the bag.
Dives in.
He's safe there. And you can't tell where his knee is. Funk's in the way. But it's just one of those plays. You take it for granted. And now you got a runner in scoring position. You catch the baseball, you still got the double play in order.
I think Morrill's argument is that he tagged him the second time around. First one not in time, and
well, from any of those right there, you're not going to be able to tell whether he did or he tagged him for sure, but you can't tell where his knees are in relation to the bag.
Well, hopefully this is not the first of many. You go back to the previous game called by Chad McKee and George Frazier. That was the Texas Tech West Virginia game, won by the Mountaineers, the number 4 seed. They had 6 video replay reviews in that game?
There for a couple innings, they had them going pretty frequently.
So 2 of the umpires remain on the field. 2 more go underneath into the seclusion.
Is it 3?
Secured area.
3 coaches' challenges that you get, and then from the 7th inning on, it's up to the umpires? I believe is what the rule is.
That does sound right.
Yeah, this is probably about the best view of it. He's in safe right there, and it looks like to me he's back on the bag. Yeah, safe. It's a great hustle play, but it's a risky play as well.
And he was running head down. He was barreling full speed ahead into second base.
Well, he made a good aggressive. You like what he did. He busted it out of the box. So he made a good aggressive sprint out of the box, made a good aggressive turn, stayed engaged in the play, saw the ball got away from middle infield. I don't know who they charged the error to. Whether
small ball in play, and the throw was to third, and Wenzel is thrown out there.
Well, another fantastic job of Elliott getting off the mound. Once again, this kid is 6'6". It's the right idea by Herring to try to catch Funk, the third baseman, playing back. But the ball's bunted just a little bit too hard and bunted too much towards the pitcher mound. And Elliott gets off and makes a great play. Kid's a good athlete. Like I said, that's not easy to do, being 6'6". And he's made 3 fantastic plays in the last 2 innings.
So Herring reaches on the fielder's choice. And a throw over to first chases him back. By the way, Oklahoma State has now committed 3 errors in the game, and Wenzel has been involved in all of them. And he's yet to score to take advantage of it. Here's Davian Downey.
You like to tell hitters, right-handed and or left-handed, if they're going to bunt for a base hit down the third baseline, it's got to be fair or foul. You can't bunt it back to the pitcher, which it wasn't there. I mean, Elliott does a really good job of getting off the mound. And if that ball's 10 feet to his left, it's probably a base hit. Or 10 feet to his right, pardon me, towards the line.
2 balls and no strikes to Downey. His average at 248. He's the outlier in recruiting for Baylor. Most of their players are from Texas. They've got a handful from California, where Steve Rodriguez is from. Downey's a Kentuckian.
Well, Baylor being in Waco, close to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, you don't have to go far. There's just a lot of competition in that area. Texas A&M, TCU. Not to mention a school like Houston.
Carter's going to go out and visit with Elliott as he falls behind 3-0 to Downey. Well, if you got the connections in California and you're Steve Rodriguez, who played at Pepperdine, you want to make sure you hold on to those. We talked about this last night, too, when we watched Baylor. When Rodriguez got the job in Waco, one of the first coaches, one of the first people to reach out to him to help him get acclimated, welcome to the conference, welcome to Texas, was Augie Garrido. And Steve says that Garrido was instrumental in helping him to kind of understand the lay of the land, the culture, the high school coaches. And boy, if you're down in the state of Texas, you spend time there, I've spent time there, you have got to make sure that you get along with those high school coaches in the state of Texas, no matter what the sport is. But Augie was instrumental in helping him get acclimated and helping him to make the transition from California to Texas and to the Big 12 Conference.
This just goes to show you what kind of first-class individual that Augie was. Able to, or willing to help his fellow coaches, and especially the coach that's in the same conference.
And one who beat him in the College World Series when he was a player. That just missed inside, and Downey's going to take a walk to first. That'll move Herring into scoring position to second. So runners at first and second in a game led by Oklahoma State 2-0, but Baylor is threatening for the first time. Before Bissonnette sees a pitch, we'll have a meeting on the mound.
Yeah, we've had an opportunity to today see some really good pitching coaches. Kurt Sarlos from TCU, now Rob Walton making a trip to the mound for Oklahoma State. Rob's been around the game a long time. He's had a lot of really good arms to work with. Really done a fantastic job at Oklahoma State. Was a head coach at Oral Roberts.
He was at ORU for, what, 13 years or so? Long time.
Had a lot of success.
When Josh got the job at Oklahoma State, one of the first calls he made was to Rob Walton to join him. He's been there ever since.
Yeah, and what Josh does with Rob, too, it's kind of like the Gary Ward-Tom Holliday relationship. That, you know, the pitchers are yours. You handle those guys. And it was the same thing with Coach Ward and T.H. You know, T.H. had that staff. That was his.
It was not a long meeting, and you got a glimpse that there is activity now in the Oklahoma bullpen. And what a stunning turn. Jensen Elliott had been dominant through 4 innings, and all of a sudden, things start to change here in the 5th. Fastball away to Bissonette, who flew out to center field in the 3rd inning. There's 1 away and 2 aboard.
And I think that's Josh and Rob understanding how the significance of this game. You know, that's one of those meetings right there too. Just I want to change the momentum of the inning. You know, let's let you take a breath. You know, get your thoughts back. You're still throwing the baseball really well. Hit your spots right here. Know who you got on the ball back to you for the double play. Just going out and just reminding guys.
Josh Bissonette's at the plate, a senior from Anaheim Hills, California. It's Peyton Battenfield in the bullpen for Oklahoma State. Elliott's pitch is fouled back. And now he's in command, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
They still got good stuff on the fastball, around 90 miles an hour. Still got good sink to it, the slider. Pitch count starting to get up there just a little bit with 77. So he threw a lot of pitches there in the 2nd inning, 22 pitches. And you have to wonder with a kid like this who's coming back, even though he's
ground ball, Kuchar 2. Flip to second for 1, on to first, and that's a double play.
Pitcher's best friend. 4-6-3. But you do have to wonder with a kid like Elliott, you know, coming back off the Tommy John from last year.
Terrific job defensively by the Cowboys to get Elliott out of a bit of a jam, and they preserve the shutout through 5. Oklahoma City is the site once again for the Phillips 66 Big 12 Conference Baseball Championships, the 2019 edition. 2-0 is our score, with Oklahoma State, the number 3 seed, leading 2nd seeded Baylor. The Bears have just 1 hit in the game so far. They threatened just a few moments ago. Runners on base in the 5th inning, but the double play bailed out Jensen Elliott, who has been dynamite tonight. The pitching duel in this game has been terrific. Jimmy Winston is on the mound for Baylor, and despite that pitch being in the dirt and away from everything, Winston has also been very effective.
Yeah, he really has. And you see his pitch count starting to creep up there just a little bit as well. 78 pitches here in the top of the 6th inning. But both these guys have been really solid. They've both made good quality pitches.
Speaking of pitch counts, in that TCU win over Oklahoma earlier today, 15-3. Here's the 2-0 pitch to the leadoff hitter, Christian Funk. Now 3-0. Again, it was an historic performance by TCU. They scored 14 runs in the bottom of the 4th inning, sending 18 men to the plate in that frame. They forced Oklahoma pitchers to throw 70 pitches in that inning alone. That's also a record. 4-pitch walk to begin the inning, and Funk is on base. And as good as Winston has been, his problem tonight has been allowing the leadoff hitter on base. This is the 4th time in 6 innings that the leadoff man for the Cowboys has reached. The last time was in the 4th when he walked Colin Simpson, and Simpson eventually scored.
Yeah, and that'll get some activity going in the Baylor bullpen. This is a game still well within reach, but with the firepower that Oklahoma State has, you don't want to let this thing get out of hand.
Simpson crushes this. Deep center field. Back goes Cunningham, and he watches it sail out of the yard. A 2-run home run for Colin Simpson, and Oklahoma now leads it 4-0.
Just mentioned the firepower.
That's right.
They call him Tank. Well, he got off to a really slow start this year, but I tell you what, he has hung in there. 14th home run on the year, and this ball was smoked to dead center. Headed to the biggest part of the ballpark. Another ball that's right where the left-handers like it. Down a little bit in. You see, he stays through the ball really nice. That ball hits a long ways back up on the hill.
That's his second home run of the tournament. He had a shot last night. And another one. The one he hit last night, he went down to his shoe tops and hit a lob wedge that found the jet stream, and it sailed out of the yard to left field. And that was one of those no-doubters to straightaway center.
Yeah, you could hear the Oklahoma State bench when he hit it. That they knew that ball had a very good chance of getting out of the ballpark. And just like that, it's 4-0. You know, you're in the game, you're still in the game. Don't get me wrong. But that's what the capabilities of Oklahoma State's offense.
4 runs on 5 hits, and that's whipped foul. Oklahoma State has committed 3 errors tonight. They have not proved costly. No runs, 1 hit, and an error committed by Baylor. Here's Navigato, who's had a terrific night, 2 for 2. Singleton was left. That ball skips to the plate. Singleton was left in the second, then Singleton scored in the 4th. Navigato's average is at 301 now. He has 12 home runs. Guided out toward third, and Wenzel boots it.
Unfortunately, he's involved in another error. Just for him on the defensive side. Ball's hit hard. He gets to it, just not able to field it cleanly. See Navigado just a little bit out in front of that ball, but unfortunately for the Bears, Wenzel just not able to come up cleanly with it and make the throw.
So here's Trevor Boone. Singleton 2 runs back in the 4th inning. Pushing his RBI total for the season to 50. That's off the plate. Outside, 1 ball and no strikes. 2 runs in the 4th, 2 more here in the 6th for Oklahoma State.
Well, that's 2 errors now for Baylor in the game, and you know, we talked about it a little bit, that the struggles this year that TCU has had fielding the baseball and the extra outs that you try to give teams, and this is not a team that you want to be giving extra outs to.
No.
When the Cowboys can put runs on the board in a hurry.
That home run by Simpson, the 81st of the season for Oklahoma State.
Nice idea right there by Langoliers. The difference in that one right there, Langoliers stayed up on his feet to throw it. If the throw's a little bit more towards the playing side of the field, they've got an opportunity. But you can see the good quick feet right there, the strong arm. One of the many qualities that the pro people like about him.
2 balls, 1 strike. Off the plate outside, 3-1.
In other words, I just don't like guys, especially catchers, throwing balls from their knees. It goes back to, once again, risk versus reward.
And I've asked you before, where did that come from? Where did that tendency? Is that just watching people?
And you watch some of these guys when they're warming up before games. They are practicing it. Don't get me wrong. They are throwing balls from their knees. You know, I think the guy that probably first started doing that was Benito Santiago from the Padres. Threw balls from his knees. And it's really just evolved from there. I'm not saying guys can't do it.
But you better be good at it.
Well, the biggest majority of time, you throw the ball on your feet in this game.
Will this be all for Jimmy Winston, who has been so good in this game? Daniel Caruso is throwing in the Baylor bullpen. 4-0 is the score. Oklahoma State has the lead. Winston will stay for now. This is similar to what Oklahoma State did to Lodolo last night.
Yeah, they just hung around, and just kept pecking away at him. And a couple of homers later, and they're winning 5-2.
Force him into one bad inning.
Yeah. Well, that's the type of pressure, you know. All of a sudden, now you get a guy on base, and Oklahoma State is not a team that runs a lot. But if you do take your focus off of them just a little bit, leave a ball in the middle of the plate to some of these guys, they hurt you.
At the plate now is Carson McCusker, who struck out swinging in the second and hit into a 6-4-3 double play in the fourth.
You know, Josh handles all the hitting with Oklahoma State, and he has done a really good job with these kids. You see it, swings that are very tight, and what I mean by that, there's not a lot of movement in their swings. There's not a lot of head movement. Really calling it staying inside a cylinder.
McCusker stands 6 feet 7 inches tall.
His cylinder's a little bigger than ours.
More of a silo?
Yeah.
1 ball and 1 strike. Ripped right back up the middle. Past Winston into center. That should score 1. The throw's coming to third, and it's in time to get the Cowboy there. But it's an RBI single for Carson McCusker.
Mentioned a while ago, you don't want to make the first or the third out at third base. A great piece of hitting by McCusker. Gets the fastball down, and you got to like the aggressiveness of Boone, but you've got a big inning going. The ball's hit in front of you.
It's Navigado who scores on the play.
Yeah, this ball gets to him in a hurry.
Cunningham to Wenzel.
Yeah, thrown out quite easily right there.
And Jeff Hendricks on the call, and that will be all for Jimmy Winston.
No, he did not pitch a bad ball game at all. Got himself in trouble with a few leadoff walks. You know, that ball could have been hit right at somebody for a double play. Made a mistake to Simpson earlier. But overall, I thought he pitched a decent game.
Winston exits with Oklahoma State leading at 5-0 now on 6 hits, just 1 away in the top half of the 6th inning, and we've got a pitching change. We'll tell you about Daniel Caruso in just a moment. Jimmy Winston's night is done for Baylor. He exits with the Cowboys on top 5-0. Gave up 6 hits. Frustration. But he did pitch well, 5 1/3. 5 earned runs allowed. He did strike out 7. He walked 3.
Yeah, those 3 base on balls were all leadoff walks as well. Almost always come back to haunt you, but he pitched good. Turns it over to Caruso. 2-1 on the year, 22 appearances, 1.91 ERA. Really good stuff right there. 33 innings pitched. He struck out 30 people and only has 14 walks. I think Steve Rodriguez bringing in one of his better guys out of the bullpens, understand the significance, trying to shut this Oklahoma State rally down right now.
And it is Daniel Caruso, not Daniel LaRusso, as our statistician Dan Cavanaugh just asked me.
Did I call him LaRusso?
Well, no. Daniel LaRusso won the All-Valley Karate Championship over Johnny Lawrence back in 1984 in the Karate Kid. You being a Hollywood guy yourself ought to know Daniel LaRusso and Johnny Lawrence and the Cobra Kai and Mr. Miyagi.
I don't hang out with those people anymore.
What were you in, Little Big League?
Yeah.
Phenomenal, by the way. You were fantastic.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, you should see the checks that I still get in the mail from that.
Had a friend of mine in a movie, and he gets 7 cents on a residual check.
I think I get about $7 every 3 years.
Daniel Caruso allows the runner to get from first to second with that pitch that gets away from Langoliers. McCusker's now in scoring position.
Yeah, this just looked like a fastball that was just right in the dirt, and as a catcher, there's really nothing you can do. with those, but just try to knock them down the best you can. Breaking balls with runners on base, you're anticipating those being in the dirt. With fastball, you're really not. Even as good as Langoliers is, he could not put a glove on it.
Bryce Carter's at the plate. Takes a ball, now 2-0. The winner of this game gets the day off. The loser takes on TCU tomorrow in one of 2 elimination games that will be played on Friday.
And that is another important thing at this time of year. You're going to play a lot of baseball here in a Big 12 tournament. If you can get that extra day's rest, gives that bullpen an extra day's rest.
Three balls, no strikes.
Game's a long ways from being over, though. Baylor's a really good offensive team, can score runs in a bunch in a hurry.
Carter gives up the strike, 3-1. Bryce on the season at .278. Struck out twice tonight.
Right here is an aquarium, so you can't sit right here.
And now he's going to walk.
And he just came back to start playing. He's had a little bit of a thumb issue. Him and Jake Taylor, the other catcher for Oklahoma State, to go along with Colin Simpson.
Caruso next faces Alex Garcia, who doubled the lead off the third and was left there. Flew out to center field to begin the 5th. McCusker is the runner at second base. And that's low. Nice job by Langoliers.
That was the breaking ball there. That's the ball that you're anticipating having a little bit more snap on it, being in the dirt. Does a really nice job keeping that ball in front of you. Does a lot for your pitching staff as well. Tells them, hey, go ahead and snap this thing off. I got you.
1 ball and no strikes. You said last night you liked the way Langoliers has a calming effect.
Well, he's very quiet back there. You see a lot of young catchers, and they're not trying to give location away to the bench early. That they jump around, and if I was a hitter, I'd be listening for their feet. With all the noise that they're making jumping around. And Langoliers is very quiet back there. That's a sign, he's caught a lot of ball games for Baylor.
2 balls and no strikes, and they're beginning to stir again in the Baylor bullpen. This ball is lined to the shortstop, a flip to second, and that's a double play. Lofton was positioned perfectly. Bissonette got to the bag, and that retires the side. But it's a good inning for the Oklahoma State Cowboys. In the top of the 6th, they scored 3 runs. The home run by Colin Simpson, a 2-run shot. They also took advantage of an error to open up a 5-0 advantage on Baylor as we go to the bottom half of inning number 6. With Mickey Tettleton, I'm Bill Dolman. Welcome back to Chickasaw Bricktown Ballpark in Oklahoma City. 5-0 Oklahoma State has the lead. We were scoreless through 3. They scored a couple of runs in the 4th, added 3 more in the bottom or the top half of inning number 6. We go to the bottom of the 6th frame, and Jensen Elliott is out there, and he has been in command throughout this game. And now he's got a 5-run lead to work with.
Yeah, worked himself out of a jam. In last inning, had a couple of base runners on.
Leading it off for Baylor in the 9 spot. This is Chase Wesner. And Garcia stretches off the bag, and they get the out.
Yeah, that'll help the cause right there. First pitch swinging. Gets jammed. Funk's made a couple of really nice plays. He didn't panic on this ball right here. Charges it, bobbles it just a little bit, but doesn't panic. Makes a good strong throw. And another good stretch by Garcia.
He's played a solid first base for Oklahoma State.
Well, I tell you, you get a good first baseman, and that can save you a lot of outs and save infielders a lot of errors. And he's done a really good job with the glove over there.
Top of the order, Nick Lofton.
He's not afraid to stretch out there either. You know, a lot of times first basemen would be afraid to stretch out there and use their length. Anytime you can do that, you shorten the throw up. You may get that bang-bang play.
Lofton flash bunt. He's 0 for 2. And now 2-1. Lofton in the first at bat of the game for Baylor hit a shot to Funk over at third base, who made a nice play. And his throw to Garcia. And Garcia stretched and made the catch and got the out. And a strike called. 2-2.
Baylor's just not look as comfortable tonight in the box hitting against Elliott as they did yesterday.
Well, they got in that. They got an early lead, the Bears, against Oklahoma. Here's a chopper. Elliott, boy, got it out of his glove quickly and threw another strike to first. 2 away.
That's just good athletic movement right there. I mean, you know, and you got to work on that stuff. That stuff they work on in the fall, the PFPs, pitcher's fielding practice. But that's just instincts and just really good feet for a big man to be able to get off the mound and field his position. It's so important for a pitcher, you know, not only to have a good arm and throw a lot of strikes, good quality strikes, but to be able to field your position, help yourself out that way as well.
That's one of the best defensive plays we've seen tonight.
It's been a few of them. That's a 4th play he's made.
Now Richard Cunningham. So far, Elliott is working on a one-hitter. The lone hit tonight for Baylor was the single by Wenzel to lead off the 5th inning.
And like I said, this is not a small kid out there doing this. This is 6'6", 235 pounds moving around out there.
And coming off of Tommy John surgery from a couple of years ago. Spent all of last year coming back from that. Just had a couple of appearances in 2018, one of which, in fact, his first appearance back from the surgery was against Baylor. Here's a liner to center field. Coming in is Boone, and he dives and can't come up with it. Gave it a good effort. The Cowboys are kicking the ball all around, but Cunningham's going to stay at first.
Yeah, really nice try by Boone right there, and really important that he kept this ball in front of him with 2 outs. If you're going to dive, you better make sure that you can keep the ball in front of you. Not hit exceptionally hard, but hard enough, and you see the effort right here, and it just hits off the bottom of his glove. But like I said, more importantly, the ball did not get by him.
Yeah, if he doesn't get leather on that baseball, Cunningham scores.
Yeah, it's 5-1.
Second hit of the night for the Bears, and here's Langoliers. And that gets out of the webbing of Carter's mitt, and that's going to put Cunningham at second base. This comes with 2 outs.
It just looked like it was just one that just got away from him. Fastball up in the zone, just not quite able to get the full glove on it. The way Elliott moves around, you wonder if Mike Gunning thinks he can catch a seam route down the middle. 6'6", put him at tight end.
Elliott on the season 8-3, an ERA at 3.86. This is his 15th start. He has 3 complete games. A glance to second. And Langoliers turns on this, hits it deep left field. Back goes McCusker and uses every inch of that 6'7" frame.
Well, I tell you, when he first hit that ball, I thought it was gone.
Yeah.
Ball must have got in on him just a little bit, because it looked like, to me, the Langoliers squared that ball up nicely.
Well, if Oklahoma State has a 6'2" left fielder, that ball's off the wall. Hit the 6'7" McCusker, lopes out there, pretty good speed, reaches up and brought it down and robs Langoliers of an extra base hit and keeps Baylor off the board. It's 5-0 as we go to the 7th.
Sorry.
5-0 is our score at the 2019 Phillips 66 Big 12 Conference Baseball Championship. 5 runs, 6 hits, 3 errors for Oklahoma State. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 errors for the Baylor Bears. We go to the 7th. Daniel Caruso is back out there again for Baylor. This is a winner's bracket game, so there is a tomorrow for the team that loses. They'll take on TCU.
Well, there's a bunch of tomorrows for both these teams.
Yeah. Both headed to the NCAA tournament. Just a matter of where they'll be. Cade Cavanis leads off the 7th inning for Oklahoma State and swings and misses at the first pitch.
Both these teams very solid. You don't see them beat themselves a lot, even though Oklahoma State has 3 errors tonight. Baylor has 2. They both have a lot of firepower in their offense. Obviously, Oklahoma State just a little bit more firepower. But when you're hitting .315 as a team, which Baylor is at this point in the season, that is some really good production.
One ball and 2 strikes to Cavanis. His dad played football at the University of Oklahoma. How does that go over in these here parts when the house is divided between the Sooners and the Cowboys? Strike 3 there. Down goes Cavanis.
I'm sure Pops is probably pulling for his Sooners when they're playing football, but, family comes first.
It's the 3rd time he struck out tonight. First strikeout for Caruso.
Well, they've had 2 brothers. They obviously the Elliott brothers. One pitched for Oklahoma, and the other one pitching, obviously tonight for Oklahoma State. And then they had the O'Briens. Austin played first base for Oklahoma a few years ago, and his brother was at Oklahoma State. I believe he's at Wichita State now. Austin's gone on to play pro ball.
Houston Morrill checks his swing, went around, and the count to him is now 0-2. Morrill is 0 for 3, struck out to begin the game, and then had back-to-back groundouts in his last 2 plate appearances to third. High and in.
Now, as a freshman, he's done a really good job, to come in as a freshman and be the leadoff hitter. In a Big 12 team, solidify the second base position. He's done everything that Oklahoma State could have asked of him.
Langoliers sets up way outside, and Morrill waved at it. The appeal doesn't go the Bears' way. 2-2.
I've been really impressed with these umpiring crews. Done a really good job of calling balls and strikes. Even the close plays, I know that we've made fun of it a little bit to go into the reviews and stuff, but they're making sure they're getting it right, and they've done an excellent job.
This crew includes Mike Morris, Michael Banks, Casey Moser, Jeff Hendricks, and Morrill had no dispute with the called 3rd strike there. So back-to-back strikeouts for Caruso in the 7th. Here's Christian Funk. Oklahoma State's third baseman. And a strike called. And Caruso's finding a rhythm.
Yeah, he's got a good live arm, got a little sink to the fastball. You know, just what you want to see out of your bullpen guys that come in, not necessarily on that pitch, but throw strikes. Don't walk people, come in, trust your stuff, challenge the strike zone, challenge the hitters, trust your defense behind you.
Caruso came on in relief of Jimmy Winston, who left after 5 1/3. That pitch floats outside. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 away in the Cowboys' half of the 7th. Oklahoma State is the number 3 seed in this tournament. Winners of 33 games this year. 14 and 9 in conference play. Baylor 34 and 15 this season. 14 and 8 in the league, and there's a swing and a miss.
Yeah, good fastball right there. 90 miles an hour. Good old-fashioned country hardball right there. Here's my best. You put your best on it. Caruso won that battle.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Swing and a miss, and Caruso struck out the side. Got 2 looking and got Funk swinging. And that'll do it for Oklahoma State. 5-0 is the score, but right now Baylor's trying to steal the momentum, see if those bats can wake up. Great night tonight for Jensen Elliott, starting for Oklahoma State. His night has come to an end, but he leaves with his team in control, 5-0. Elliott on the night allowed just 2 hits in the game off the Baylor bats. And again, Baylor is the number 1 hitting team in the Big 12, but just 2 hits tonight off the big right-hander.
Well, we talked to Josh in the coach's interview. You know, he mentioned when he's on, it's got the good hard sink to the fastball. And every one of those pitches right there was a late hard sinker. You know, plus the fact for a big man, he gets around really well on the mound. He'll turn it over to Peyton Battenfield. Look at his record on the year: 3-3, 22 appearances, no starts. Really been a big part of the Oklahoma State bullpen. 3.23 ERA, 47 innings pitched. Once again, a really good strikeout to base on balls ratio with 1 save on the year. It's another big power arm that comes out of the Oklahoma State bullpen.
He'll be facing 4, 5, and 6. Andy Thomas and Davis Wenzel and Cole Herring for the Bears. Thomas, 341 on the season, 3 home runs. He hit 1 last night and launched it deep into right field at a shot that cleared the bullpen.
We've seen some home runs in this ballpark hit over the last one, but I cannot remember a ball that was hit over the right field bullpen. Been a bunch of them hit over the left field bullpen, but you're almost hitting it against a crosswind when you go that direction.
Yeah, it was impressive.
Yeah, he hit it out there where those lounge chairs are.
2 for 4 last night, a run scored and 3 runs driven in for Thomas, who swings and fouls that pitch back, and it's 1-2. Tonight, Andy is 0 for 2. He flew out to left and then grounded out to the pitcher Elliott, who fielded his position very well tonight, in addition to having command with all of his pitches. Battenfield misses low. 2-2.
Yeah, really impressive outing for Jensen Elliott. You know, you just had the feeling that Baylor was just not real comfortable against him tonight. They just did not look comfortable in the box. They had a few good swings at him. You know, had a couple of opportunities, but they just were not able to capitalize on those opportunities.
Thomas goes down on strikes.
And there's going to be nights like that. Even though you're the best hitting team in the Big 12, you know, you run across guys. You just got to tip your hat to them, say, nice work, man. Hopefully we'll see you later on in the week.
Here's Wenzel. reached on an error and reached on a base hit. Checked his swing, but first base umpire Michael Banks says he went around. It's a strike, 0-1. And now the 0-1. And that's a late call, but it's also a strike. And now the Big 12's leading hitter has some work to do.
Well, right now you just got to stick your nose in there and battle. Got a tough call against you on the check swing. Really good quality pitch for strike 2. Battenfield tries to go upstairs right there at 93 miles an hour.
That's a bit high. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Big 12 Conference co-player of the year. And now 2-2. The magic number for Baylor when it comes to run production is 6. Swing and a miss, and down goes Wenzel. Back-to-back strikeouts for Battenfield on a relief of Jensen Elliott. He's trying to do what Caruso did in relief for Baylor when he set down the Cowboys in order on strikeouts in the last half inning.
Yeah, and you don't see that happen very often to Wenzel. It's just some good quality pitches to him right there. And once again, as hitters at times, and we don't want to do it, but you got to tip your hat to that guy out there and say, hey, man, nice work. We'll try it again next time.
That pitch went about 55 feet, bounced up, it hit Bryce Carter in the face mask and knocked him on his wallet.
Yeah, you got to be able to frame those pitches. Just what you need right now. It's almost midnight and you're getting hit in the dome with a one-hopper. It is certainly not glamorous back there.
Yeah.
It's the best position on the field, but man, you will get beat up.
What was the worst? I mean, overall, but what was the thing that as a catcher, you guys?
Foul tips.
Yeah.
You can't control them. And I've gotten hit everywhere you could possibly be hit, and there was some game-ending foul tips. Left the field with a little higher voice than when I got on it.
You just said they all hurt, but I only think that a couple of them might think hurt more than others.
That one in particular was, all right, game's over. Everybody drive home safely. At least it was for me. But that's the worst because you cannot control it. And then the ball actually picks up speed coming off the bat. That's an impressive inning right there by Battenfield, striking out the side. That's exactly what you want to see from your bullpen.
Yeah, Caruso did it to the Cowboys in the top of the 7th, and Battenfield came in out of the bullpen for Oklahoma State and set the Bears down in order, striking out the side. 5-0 OSU to the 8th we go after this. Last night in the 2nd inning, Colin Simpson led off the frame for Oklahoma State by going down low and launching one high and out of the ballpark for a solo home run. And then earlier tonight, Simpson in the 6th inning launched a 2-run shot over the wall in straightaway center field, his 2nd home run of the tournament. He's been a major run producer for OSU to this point in OKC.
I mentioned earlier, he really got off to a slow start. All Big 12 last year catcher, preseason All Big 12 this year, and he got off to a slow start, was pressing just a little bit, but man, has he come on.
He'll be facing a new pitcher for Baylor. Tyler Thomas has come on. Thomas, a left-hander, 3rd pitcher used tonight by Steve Rodriguez. Jimmy Winston started and did well through 5 1/3, but left with the Cowboys in the lead. Daniel Caruso came on in relief, struck out the side in the 7th, but he's given away now to Thomas.
Maybe some guys that have not pitched in a while, late in the game, get them an inning of work, inning of tournament work. Thomas on the year, 5.88 ERA, 26 innings pitched. 37 strikeouts in those 26 innings. 25 base on balls. A little bit high there.
Ground ball out to second. Nice play by Bissonnette. Flips to first just in time to get the runner.
Boy, fantastic play right there. This ball's hit hard up the middle by Simpson. Not the fastest of guys, but Bissonnette still makes a fantastic play on this. It's not easy going to your right as a second baseman or any infielder for that matter. And then throwing the ball back across your body accurately. A good strong throw too. Great play.
Hey, good morning.
How are you? IHOP, here we come.
Now after midnight in Oklahoma City, late night baseball. 4th game of the day. Oklahoma State and Baylor. Here's Andrew Navigado, the Cowboys shortstop. And that foul tip got past Langoliers and hit Mike Morris, the home plate umpire, hard, and he went down.
Well, you just asked me about the ones that are the worst. There it was right there. It's a foul tip. You cannot control the flight of the ball off the bat. And there's really nothing you can do.
Those guys get paid, but as an absolute labor of love to do what those umpires do.
Did you see who the first guy out of the dugout was, though? Steve Rodriguez.
Right on his right shoulder.
Yeah, that might have been one of those ones that, even though they've got a lot of padding up in there, it might have been one of those ones that caught him in between. You don't see guys very often just go straight down like that. You can see the padding up around his shoulders and on his chest right there, but you can't cover everything. And it's just, unfortunately, that's just one of those ones. It just goes with the territory. But how cool is it? Steve Rodriguez was the first guy out of the dugout to go check on him.
And
both guys. It just shows the
trainers out.
Class, that both these coaches have.
And now you're going to go back to work and face pitches again. Well, Morris gets back behind home plate, still probably smarting quite a bit. Navigado remains in this at bat. Now he swings and misses and strikes out.
Well, you just got to go about your business. You got to get right back on the bike.
The center fielder, Trevor Boone.
Took a chance at a high fastball and missed it.
Yeah, just wasn't quite able to catch up to it.
That's 4 strikeouts by the last 5 Cowboy batters. And here's Trevor Boone. Speaking of those officials, referees, officials, umpires, I remember several years ago doing a story, and one of those who was interviewed, a guy named Ford Clark, who was one of the top football officials in the country. Worked the national championship games and very prominent college football games over the last decade or so. He said, you need to understand about the job that we do, and he's speaking collectively about officials. It said that nobody is a bigger fan of the sports that we work. Nobody loves the game more than the umpires, referees, officials in charge, because we're out there making sure that the game is played the way it was written up and the way it's supposed to be played. I thought it was a very profound thing to say.
Yeah,
when you think about it, they are sticking to the rules of the game.
Well, and I think you look at it, these guys in all these sports are making split-second decisions. They're still human beings, and they're going to make mistakes. But, like I said, I think these guys have done a fantastic job here at the Big 12 tournament so far.
Thomas does a terrific job as well. Got the ground ball out by Simpson and back-to-back strikeouts. And once again, Oklahoma State goes in order, but the Cowboys still have a 5-0 lead as we go to the bottom. Welcome back to Oklahoma City, where Baylor leads. Oklahoma State leads Baylor 5-0. This game in the bottom of the 8th. Final game of day number 2, and here's a look at bracket number 2. Baylor opened up play in the conference tournament with an 8-2 win over Oklahoma. Oklahoma State defeated TCU 5-2, setting up this winner's game matchup that you're watching. Earlier today, TCU in the elimination game knocked out Oklahoma 15-3. TCU scored 14 runs in the bottom half of the fourth inning, sending 18 men to the plate in that frame. So TCU is still alive and awaiting the loser of this game. They'll play tomorrow in another elimination game. Pinch hitter at the plate.
TCU looked good today.
They did.
Offensively, I mean, obviously that looked really good.
The pinch hitter is Cole Weaver for Baylor. Battenfield continues to work on the hill. Swing and a miss.
Now Weaver, an opportunity, come in, get you a pinch hit right here. Unfortunately for him, it happens to be one against one of the better bullpen guys in the Big 12. Hit 375 on the year. Not a lot of at-bats, 24 at-bats. 5 RBIs, though, with those 24 at-bats. Good production.
He's hitting for Davian Downey. And that's high. 3 balls and 2 strikes. I mentioned earlier that the magic number for runs for Baylor is typically 6 or more. When the Bears score 6 runs or more, they're 27-3 on the season. And Weaver swings and misses and strikes out. That's 4 consecutive strikeouts racked up by Battenfield.
You see with these pitches why he's so important to the Oklahoma State bullpen. Big, strong guy right over the top. Good fastball, and it's well located. That's one thing that's been really impressive these first 2 nights with Oklahoma State pitching. There's not a lot of balls in the middle of the plate. They're hitting their spots.
Here's Josh Bissonette at the plate.
You know, for them to be able to come out here and do what they've done to this Baylor offense, it leads the Big 12 in hitting at .315. You know, that doesn't happen very often. You see this team get shut out to this point in the game.
You know, Baylor doesn't get shut out very often at all. Bissonette swings and misses.
Tony, why'd you kill it? Animal insect killer.
Nebraska beat the Bears back on March 9th, 2-0. Count now 3-1.
We were just talking about Nebraska today, you and I, in between games. Darren Erstedt, the job that he's done getting that program turned around up there. They were a powerhouse when it was the Big 8 conference. Very tough team, tough place to go play. We went up there when I was a freshman, and they were having spring football going on. And we got into a little bit of a disagreement with Nebraska. And when I went back to right field, the football field was right there by the baseball field.
Right.
And they were practicing, and they stopped practice. I thought we were going to get killed. That was the biggest human beings I've ever seen in my life.
And they were wanting to practice where you were playing.
No, they were wanting to practice on us.
3 balls, 2 strikes, and 1 away to Josh Bissonette.
I just remember those guys lined up in right field, and it's like, oh my gosh, there's no chance we're getting out of Lincoln without a couple of extra bruises.
Well, even though Nebraska has gone on to the Big 10 conference, there are still a number of schools in the Big 12 that have played some games against the Huskers. Kansas State, Baylor among them this year. Only stands to reason. And when you're looking for quality opponents who are looking to play quality opponents,
you don't have to look very far.
Yep. When you're looking to try and save some money in the travel budget, Bissonette skies one high, straightaway center field. Boone's underneath it, and that's an easy play. 2 away.
They finished, what, 5th in the Big Ten? I believe they're projected to go to a regional. They need a good solid run in the Big Ten tournament, but Michigan getting beat yesterday, that'll certainly help.
Nebraska beat Minnesota And there have been some Big 12 teams that have also scheduled games with Minnesota.
Well, Oklahoma.
Finding those teams that are willing to play, willing to travel, is just so critical for these Big 12, Big 10, some kind of in the same Power 5 ship, if you will, to find quality games. Well, the SEC is going to play a ton of games against each other throughout the course of the season. What is it? They get 6 more conference games in the #1 RPI league. So if you're in the Big 12, Big 10, ACC a little bit.
Well, Iowa came down to Stillwater earlier this year. Took 2 or 3 from Oklahoma State.
Of course, Oklahoma State, and arguably the most impressive performance by a Big 12 team this season, went to Oregon State and swept the defending national champion. Here's Chase Wesner swinging and missing and going down on strikes. And that retires the side. That's 5 strikeouts for Bottenfield since coming on in relief of Elliott. Oklahoma State leads this game 5-0. The bottom line is Josh Holliday has gotten great pitching tonight, and that's why they lead. Good morning and welcome to Oklahoma City, Chickasaw Bricktown Ballpark in OKC, where Oklahoma State and Baylor are finishing up play in day 2 of the 2019 Phillips 66 Big 12 Baseball Championship. 5-0 is the score. The Cowboys got 2 in the 4th, 3 more in the 6th, and they've gotten fantastic pitching tonight from Jensen Elliott. And Peyton Bottenfield came in from the bullpen, and in 2 innings of work, he's recorded 5 strikeouts and set down the Bears in order in the 2 innings that he's pitched. We go to the top half of the 9th inning. Oklahoma State is the visiting team because it's the lower seed at number 3. So Carson McCusker will lead it off, and Baylor will have 1 more at bat. Two strikes to McCusker to begin things. He'll be followed by Bryce Carter and Alex Garcia.
Well, Tyler Thomas right here. Get your team back in the dugout. You still got 3 outs to play. You've got a very explosive offense. Give yourself a chance. A couple of base runners and 1 swing. You're right back in the ballgame. This kid's sneaky. He's got a nice smooth delivery. Ball just seems like it just jumps on the hitters. Last pitch 91 miles an hour.
And Thomas gets McCusker to swing and miss. That's his 3rd consecutive strikeout. 1 away for Bryce Carter. We've not talked about it tonight. We did yesterday, but it bears repeating what the Bears have gone through this year with their pitching staff. They expected to have last year's Big 12 Conference Pitcher of the Year, Cody Bradford, heading up the staff. He worked 7 innings this season and then suffered a malady that affects the nerves in the arm, the neck, the shoulder. And he's been lost for the season. And the man you're watching right now on the hill, Tyler Thomas, was also expected to be one of their starters. He had some shoulder problems and only has recently returned in a relief role.
Yeah, that's a huge blow. Whenever you lose, Bradford right off the get-go. I mean, before your season even starts, Big 12 Pitcher of the Year is gone. Yeah, but I think that goes to show once again how important recruiting is and what Steve and his staff have been able to do, building some depth.
Carter rips this to left field. That falls in, and it tails away from Herring and rolls into the corner. Carter's got second base, so they'll be satisfied with a stand-up double.
A nice piece of hitting right here by Carter. Gets the fastball away, stays with it nicely, drives it down the left field line. Here you see it right here. Kept his hands inside it really nicely. There's been some tough hops in the outfield today by some outfielders that have just misplayed some balls.
Well, and that's Cole Weaver, who came in as a pinch hitter for Davian Downey in the 8th inning. Weaver remains in the game. Downey had been in right, but they put Weaver in left and moved Herring over to right field. So first opportunity that Cole Weaver gets in the game is a pretty challenging play with the ball tailing away from him.
Well, you've seen some routine plays where balls just gone right under gloves. You know, I think there's probably been 6 errors today on outfielders. And these are basically just routine plays.
Here's Alex Garcia at the plate, who's been great.
A nice piece of hitting right here by Carter. Gets the fastball away, stays with it nicely, drives it down the left field line. Here you see it right here. Kept his hands inside it really nicely. There's been some tough hops in the outfield today by some outfielders that have just misplayed some balls.
Well, and that's Cole Weaver, who came in as a pinch hitter for Davian Downey in the 8th inning. Weaver remains in the game. Downey had been in right, but they put Weaver in left and moved Herring over to right field. So first opportunity that Cole Weaver gets in the game is a pretty challenging play with the ball tailing away from him.
Well, you've seen some routine plays where balls just gone right under gloves. You know, I think there's probably been 6 errors today on outfielders. And these are basically just routine plays.
Here's Alex Garcia at the plate, who's been great at first base. Tonight he's got a double. He flew out to center and lined into a double play. I mentioned the Baylor pitching problems. It was Hayden Kettler, who was slated to be their number 2 starter, who had some shoulder issues and has only recently come back to the pen. Thomas, who's on the mound right now, just had some issues with control. There's no issues tonight. That's his 5th strikeout. And that'll bring Cade Cavanis to the plate. Cavanis has struck out 3 times tonight. So we are seeing Oklahoma State's offense is as it is. There's power. They're opportunistic. You can get the 3-run home run, but you're also going to see a lot of strikeouts, and that's what we're seeing tonight.
Yeah, it's 14 on the night as a team. I mean, if there is one negative about them, I mean, that's a lot of balls that are not being put in play. But when they do put them in play, they hit them hard. They are a free swinging bunch that they don't leave anything behind when they leave that on deck circle.
Well, they're confident.
Yeah.
You can sense the confidence at the plate, and there's probably some freedom in that from Josh Holliday.
Well, I can still hear Josh in my headset down there, and it's just, I mean, he's constantly encouraging his players, and it's just, he's one of those guys you want to go play for him.
Straight down the middle for a called strike, 3-1.
Same thing in the other dugout with Steve Rodriguez. The guys that are just, they're constantly encouraging their guys, reinforcing positive things. And kids respond to that.
That's in there for a called strike, and the count's 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. This is the top of the 9th. Baylor will hit in the home half, trailing 5-0 at the moment. Cavanis has struck out 3 times, twice looking. .248 hitter on the season, and he chops it foul off to the right side. Tomorrow, Texas Tech plays Kansas in an elimination game. Texas Tech lost tonight Terrific ball game between the Red Raiders and the West Virginia Mountaineers. West Virginia is unbeaten in the first bracket. Kansas looked like it was getting ready to head back to Lawrence, and then in extra innings they made a comeback and defeated Kansas State as Cavanis goes down swinging, striking out for the 4th time tonight. Kansas came back and defeated Kansas State in 11 innings, 15-14. And in the losers bracket elimination on this side, it's TCU awaiting the loser of this one. And Baylor has some work to do if they don't want to play tomorrow. The bottom of the 9th is next. Welcome back to Chickasaw Bricktown Ballpark in Oklahoma City. Go to the bottom half of the 9th inning. Oklahoma State and Baylor. The 3 seed, 11th ranked Oklahoma State Cowboys have a 5-0 lead on the Baylor Bears, who are ranked anywhere from 12 to 16 at this point in the season. Peyton Bonfield has been fantastic in relief of Jensen Elliott, who was also fantastic tonight on the hill for the Cowboys. For Baylor, it's the top of the order. Or beg your pardon, it is the top of the order. Lofton, Cunningham, and Langoliers scheduled to come to the plate in the 9th.
That was a major rally hat right there. Did you get a look at that?
I
About
did.
3 or 4 hats stacked. I haven't seen that one yet.
First pitch swinging, and it's a single to start things in the bottom of the 9th. That's off the bat of Lofton, who had been 0 for 3.
We just keep punching away. You know, try to get that tying run to the plate.
And keep adding hats, apparently.
Won't be anybody with hats on over there after. You had 3 or 4. Like I said, I've never seen that one before. I've seen them turned upside down, inside out.
Next up, Richard Cunningham. Bottenfield, prior to that at bat to Lofton, and the base hit, had set down all 6 Bears that he had faced, 5 of them via the strikeout.
Well, it's the only 3rd hit of the night for the Bears.
And the 0-1, high in the air, center field. And now drifting a bit toward the left side, that's Boone. He makes the catch, 1 away. That'll bring Shea Langoliers to the plate. Langoliers in the 6th inning hit what we thought when it left his bat was a home run. It was a drive into the corner in left field, and it was tracked down by the tall left fielder, 6'7" McCusker. He brought it down, and Langoliers was probably as surprised as we were that wasn't a home run.
When he first hit it and you see the reaction of the Baylor bench, you think the ball's out of the ballpark. I certainly thought it was. And McCusker catches the ball at the top of the wall without even having to jump.
Langoliers, after going 2 for 3 last night with a couple of runs scored, a couple of runs driven in, and a home run, tonight is 0 for 3. Strike taken there, and he's behind 0-2.
Well, he's got a lot of nice qualities that they're going to be looking for at the next level. He can catch, handles pitches well, handles pitchers well, throws the ball extremely well. And something that you don't see a lot of in Major League Baseball right now in particular, and that's offensive catchers.
Chased a high fastball, and he goes down on 3 pitches, and Baylor's down to its final out. 6th strikeout for Bottenfield.
Yeah, just chase the high fastball right here. And you know, when guys are throwing this hard, it certainly makes it tough to chase that high fastball.
Next up is Andy Thomas.
You know, certainly not his best night, but he's got a lot of really good nights ahead of him.
And good paydays.
Yeah.
Swinging at the first pitch, skying it to left center. McCusker comes over, camps underneath it, makes the catch, and the Cowboys have won it.
I tell you, that was an impressive performance between Battenfield and Jensen. 3 hits on the best hitting team in the Big 12. That's some pitching.
Just the 2nd time this season that Baylor has been shut out. third consecutive game between these two that the Cowboys come out on top. They won 2 against the Bears in Stillwater in the final regular season series. One of those games they had scheduled for 3. Rain took care of another. And they come here in the Big 12 tournament, and Baylor gets the victory. Or beg your pardon, Oklahoma State gets the victory over Baylor by a score of 5-0. 5 runs, 7 hits, and 3 errors committed tonight by the Cowboys. No runs, 3 hits, and 3 errors committed by Baylor. So both teams had some defensive miscues. Here's a look at bracket number 2. Again, Baylor has advanced with the win over Oklahoma. Oklahoma State advanced with a win over TCU. In the matchup between 2 and 3, it's Oklahoma State who gets a day off tomorrow. Baylor, meanwhile, has to get back to work. They'll take on a TCU squad that eliminated Oklahoma earlier today. That game will be played tomorrow. In bracket number 1, West Virginia defeated Kansas to open things up. West Virginia then defeated Texas Tech earlier today. That after the Red Raiders beat Kansas State. In the elimination game this morning, Kansas came from behind in 11 innings to defeat Kansas State 15-14. So Kansas is still alive. They'll meet the Red Raiders tomorrow at 3:15 p.m. Central Time. And of course, West Virginia has the day off. They'll play on Saturday morning at 9.